Hello, happy Monday. I am not here. I am actually in Florida with our Powerhouse Mastermind. So we are traveling today. We kick off the next 3 days with our mastermind members. And if you want more information, want more details, I always tell people check out our Instagram stories. My team does a really good job of showing what it looks like to be involved in our masterminds. So you can kind of get a sneak peek over there of what that looks like. Now, what we're going to talk about today is a kind of a two-part training. I'm going to teach you today. And when I'm back next week, I want to bring on people that actually want to work through this with me. Okay. So I've done this a few times. And I always tell people, in case you don't know, I am a certified life coach through the Life Coach School. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to learn a little bit more about mindset tied with strategy was because we have built this phenomenal program. We have had people come in. I am not kidding when I say scale to 6 figures, scale to 7 figures as a new business very, very quickly. And then all of a sudden we can have somebody come in who's like, this is horrible. Like, I already know all this stuff. I already have all these, right? And we're like, how could this work for this person and not work for this person? And it's not the content, because it's the same content, right? It's not not that person's industry or their market or their niche or any of those excuses. It really is when people have the right mindset with the right strategy, they can take off. If you are missing, you need both, right? So whenever people go and they buy mindset courses and they think that's what's going to blow up their business, it's like, well, it's getting your mind to be thinking the right way, but you are going to have to find a strategy to get you there, right? You've got to make sure that you are looking at both pieces. Do you have the right mindset to implement the strategy you are learning? If you're just working on your mindset and you're like, great, well, how do I grow my business? It's like, well, that's on you, right? So you need both. And I try to tie in as much of this as I can, or needed, I should say, when I'm coaching. So some of you see me do this because you come on the marketing calls and like, I will just say something to somebody, maybe without running through this model that I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'll just say something to somebody and light bulbs will go off, right? Maybe you saw Jenny, she's the one that has the farm, who had said like, I just believe that this business isn't scalable. And one of the things I said to her, which this is mindset, right? Is I said, if you knew how to scale, what do you think the answer would be? And she answered it so quickly, so quickly. It was like her subconscious knew the answer, but sometimes we block certain things, right? So that was an example of that. You've seen me use the example of Time when she came on and said, best case scenario, we break even this summer. And then we switched her mindset and she walked out feeling on fire. They go and they create a brand new business that now it didn't happen that summer. It happened in September, right? But she worked all summer to retweak and figure out the things she needed to do. That business has blown up into, I think this year, over 7 figures. I think next year, multiple 7 figures. And just 2 years ago, it was like the summer of COVID, she was like, break even, best case scenario, right? So just know that, and especially like this week in Powerhouse at the Mastermind, yeah, we teach strategy, but there's so much more mindset involved in the strategy. They have all the strategy they need. Like sometimes I go to create the content for the masterminds and I'm thinking, what else can I teach them? I've taught them everything, right? But what happens is we've got to get their mindset ready to implement the things they already know. We've got to get their mindset in a place where they finally create the stuff like, or implement the things that they've already learned 6 months ago, right? Like think about something you've been procrastinating on, something that you maybe heard inside of foot traffic. You heard it here, you liked it, but you haven't been doing it. Or we talked about it, you were maybe excited in the moment, but then it didn't pan out, right? I really want you to start to be super aware of what your mind is doing. Even right now, you might be thinking, I don't even need to watch this. Like this isn't going to help me. I need strategy, right? Like that, somebody's thinking that. That is your mind playing tricks on you. That is your mind thinking, I don't need this. I've got this under control. I already know the model, right? You can know the model, but you have to work the model every day, right? You have to stop yourself. I still get not great thoughts, thoughts that are going to derail me, that are going to get me off track, that are going to sabotage me, right? All of these things. So one, and I'll share a few of mine because I want you to see, like, this is still going on in my head, right? And the higher up I get, the more successful I get, it's not going away. There's just bigger thoughts, bigger ideas that I have to start to go, wait a minute, that is not a fact. That is a thought. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to share with you what the model is. Okay. So I'll explain this in one sec. Okay. So again, if you know this, take it as a good reminder, and then let's get into some stuff. Now, here's what I want you to know is everybody leaving here today, I want you to come up with what happened to you. Think about something that already happened this past week or something that's going to happen this next week. Something you can't get out of your mind or this thought keeps popping up in your head. Okay. So C stands for circumstance, which is a fact. T is our thought about that fact. F is the feeling we create from that thought. With that feeling, we have some sort of action or inaction. So procrastination, right? So you're like, I don't know. I'm not feeling confident. I'm feeling defeated. I'm feeling, right? And then because of that, or you're feeling hopeless or helpless, you don't take action. Okay. And then that action creates your result. Now, here's where what I see a lot is our thoughts, we think are facts sometimes. So we want to make sure that when you think of something this week, you really say, is that a thought or is it a fact? Now, to be extreme, but to also show like fine line here is they say like, would this be like if you were in a courthouse and there was a judge and a jury, would 100% of people say, yes, that is a fact, right? Versus somebody might say, well, no, not exactly. That might be a thought. Okay. So your thought is, here's a great example. You might have think, I have tried everything. And you have put, I have tried everything as a fact. You have tried everything, right? Which I laugh because there's no way, but people think that I have tried everything. And then this is when I'll say, did you? Okay. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done it to another level? Have you done that times 10? Right? So we're about to figure out our top of funnel and come out with a new boot camp that replaces our Drive More Traffic boot camp that we have done over and over and over again, right? And with that boot camp, there is always more we could be doing, right? So maybe you're thinking, well, I've done a boot camp. Okay, well, have you done the boot camp where you've increased it or enhanced it 6 different times, right? Like we literally have, here's what we're going to do in March. Here's how we're going to make it better in April. Here's what we're going to do in May. Here's what we're going to work on all summer because we're actually not going to do our boot camp in summer. Here's what we're going to work on all summer long. And man, when we come back in September, wait till you see this thing. And even in September, guess what? We have not tried everything. There's no way. There's always something else. I have tried everything is not a circumstance. It is your thought. And it is actually incorrect because there's no way you could possibly have tried everything, right? We had that training about how many things you could be testing. Watch that. If you believe, no, I really have tried everything, go watch the testing video inside of here and you will see there is no way you could have tested everything, right? So when you say I've tried everything, it's just, you feel helpless. It's like, I've done this. I've learned this. So then what do? You just keep doing what you've been doing, or you stop doing it because you're burnt out, right? And the result you are getting down here is exactly where you were because you tried everything. There's nothing new to try. So of course you're going to get the same result, right? So one of my thoughts, and I like to keep a thought usually on a Post-it somewhere I can see it. So it's like right over there. And the reason is because I have these thoughts that creep in too. And when that thought creeps in, like a common thought, right? I need to remind myself. So that the thought that I have over here is I'm getting closer every day. I used to keep saying, we're figuring it out, but like in a bad way. Like, yeah, we're still figuring it out. Like we had not figured it out. I was staying in like that stuck moment of, yeah, we're working on it, but it wasn't like we're working on it. It was like, yeah, we're working on it. You see the difference in my feelings, right? So what I had to acknowledge was we actually were working on it. We were doing things over and over, like new things and trying this and trying that, right? And it's so funny because I wrote that note down. I'm getting closer every day. And I put it there because I realized I am not giving myself credit of, when people say I'm stuck, I know how to coach them out of it. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm not acting stuck. I am acting like I really am figuring it out. So why am I not giving myself credit for figuring it out? So I wrote that post-it, I'm getting closer every day. And I swear to you, that week, like that day, and then like 7 days later, I couldn't believe the trajectory that our business was on. And I swear to you, this is not a coincidence. This is not like woo woo, like I'm making this up. It's attraction. No, it is literally just how the brain is working. I said, I'm getting closer every day. And that felt really good. It felt true. It felt like I was acknowledging myself and the hard work that I was doing. And when I felt that way all week, I had a killer week. I was doing things and trying things and implementing and asking the team, like, what did they see from this? Right. So I was putting in the right actions. And then the result was we got closer every day, every single day versus like yeah, we're trying to figure it out. Not even we're figuring it out. We're trying to figure it out. That was my thought before. So we're trying felt like we've been trying for a long time. Like it felt, what would be the word? I was lacking confidence. I was like, you see, I'm going to slow down because I want you to see, like, sometimes I don't know what the feeling is. We're figuring it out, probably defeated. Like, why are we figuring this out? We should be so much better than this, which is another thought, right? But like, like kind of defeated. And my actions were a lot of like the same old, right? Because I felt like, why am I stuck? I don't know why I'm stuck. So then my result was we were kind of staying there. See that? One post-it that replaces my new thought completely changes my outcome. Okay. So, all right, let me just glance really quickly to see if I wrote some things down because I know sometimes you have some things that I want to help you work through too. Okay. This is another good one. This is why I write notes. Circumstance. Maybe it's your current revenue or a circumstance of you have a written goal for 2022 of X amount of dollars a year. Okay. So let's say you've decided this year I'm hitting 7 figures. Okay. Now you might think, wait, how is that a thought or a circumstance? Well, a circumstance could be you've written it down, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like a court could say, yes, there's a piece of paper. She wrote down $1 million. Okay. Now your thought about that piece of paper could be, but how is that ever going to happen? Could that really happen? I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe I shot too big. Maybe $1 million's not realistic this year. Okay. Do you see where I'm going here? You wrote it down, but do you believe what you wrote down? Are you looking for the how? Are you looking for the answer? Are you looking for the strategy? Right? So when you start to not believe that, how do you feel? You're definitely not feeling confident to make it happen. That's for sure. Right? So you're starting, maybe you're feeling doubtful, hesitant. What do you do when you're hesitant? Oh man, not a whole heck of a lot, right? Because you don't even believe it. Are you taking actions to hit $1 million when you don't even believe it's possible? No way. So what happens? You're not going to hit it. How am I going to hit this is true. It's not going to happen. So what do we do up here when we write a thought? Okay. Or write the goal down, I should say. Okay. So one of the things I want you thinking about when we're looking at this is what we call a bridge thought. So maybe you don't totally believe that a million is possible. Okay. But what is something you do believe to help you get there? So maybe let's pretend this is my goal. Okay. A million. And it's like, I'll say 10 million, right? Because obviously I've hit a million. So I'm not going to have real thoughts around this. So let's say 10 million. 10 million is still a pretty big number for me. I'm like, how am I getting there? I'm doing the whole thing I just said to you, right? Because it's a big number. It would be a big jump for us. However, what I could think to help me really get in alignment is I'm going to just ramble here because this is just on the spot. I have a lot of friends at 10 million. If they did it, so could I. I could ask them what they think I could do to get there, right? I have a lot of support around 8 figures. I actually just saw somebody who I was shocked that they were grossing a certain amount of money in a certain industry that I know does not make a lot of money. And I thought my thought was, okay, if he can do that with that industry, oh, I could do that with mine. Now that thought felt empowering to me. If I said, oh, I'm shooting for 10, I always say 10 figures. If I'm shooting for 10 million, it's like, oh, like that might not be the thought I need to think. My thought might be, if he can do it with that industry, I could crush it with mine, right? That thought feels better for me than I'm going to hit 10 million, right? So what is the bridge thought you could be thinking that you believe? Because here's the deal. If you have a thought like I'm getting closer every day, but I didn't believe that, that would not help me. But I had to really come and do some inner, journaling and some thought work. And I really did believe, like, no, we have so much in progress. We really are getting closer. We are like, we're doing things, we have momentum, we're moving. And when I could say to myself, I am getting closer every day, that is what changed. If you rip off my sentence and you put it there, but you do not feel you're getting closer every day, it's not going to help you. It's not going to do anything. This isn't going to be your model. You have to believe what you're saying. So when Jenny, was like, I don't believe this business is scalable. I think we're kind of stuck at this number. And then all of a sudden I said, well, what would it look like if it was scalable? And she was like, well, we'd have to buy more land. We'd have to, I don't know what she said, a couple things. I was like, oh, and could you do that? She was like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could. Like it was clicking for her. Like she wasn't getting that it was possible. And then when she was convincing herself, like, we could buy more land, we could XYZ. Okay. Her belief changed. But if I kept saying to her, no, Jenny, it's scalable. It is scalable. Replace the thought it's not scalable with it's scalable. She didn't believe that. We had to do some of that inner work for her to click, for her to believe she was going to do it. Without the belief, it's not there. It's not going to help you. So if you have a thing where, like when we're working through this next week together, if you have something that you're going, this is my thought and this is true, but I don't want that to be my thought, right? How many of you have a thought and you're thinking, I desperately want to change it. I just don't know how. I just don't want to change it to. How do I get out of this? Come to me with that. We are going to work through the 100% of the time next week, people's models. Okay. So I want you and maybe work through it yourself. Tell me what you think that model is. Okay. And then one thing I want to teach you really quickly, because I do this myself, right? So I'm in my office, I'm journaling in the morning and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that thought. I just caught a really bad thought. Let me work through this right now. Okay. And then when you work through it, you're like, oh, that thought cannot be my thought. It can't stay. Right. So what happens is when I usually go, ugh, that is not good. What I do next is I say, well, what do I really want? Right. So if you're thinking, I really do want that $1 million business or whatever you're going to say, right? I really do want that. Okay, well, what are you going to need to do to get there? Right? What are some strategies? What are some things you're going to have to do? So start writing them down. Well, I'd have to better boundaries, like we know this, right? I would need better boundaries. I would need, like, let's say you weren't in this program, you might be like, I'm going to need a coach with strategy, right? Maybe you're thinking, I'm going to need to show up to these calls and get coaching from Stacy. She has $1 million business. Why would I not get coaching from her? Right? Hello. Okay. So you're going to ask questions. You are going to, what else would you do? You're an item 1 million, you're going to hire. You're probably going to fire, right? You're going to have hard conversations. You're going to do all the things. You're just going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. What is the feeling you're going to need to feel in order to do this? Right? In order for me to do that kind of stuff, I'm going to need to feel confident. I'm going to need to feel empowered, right? Find the word that you need to do those things. Like for me, a big one for me is confidence. Well, I used to think I was very confident until I started doing this stuff. And then I now can only see my lack of confidence in a lot of things until I change my model. Okay. What am I going to think to become confident? Right. And that's where I had to go. I'm getting closer every day. Like literally every day I am learning, I am growing, I am implementing. I'm getting closer. I'm process of elimination of the things that didn't work. I am getting closer every day. That thought just fuels me. If it doesn't fuel you, do not use it. Okay. Your thought might be, I'm in foot traffic. They're going to teach me. They know what they're doing. They've done it before, right? Whatever it is, you've got to believe it. Okay. You've got to believe it. And then people are always like, wait, what is the circumstance when I've reversed engineered it? The circumstance, again, it could be your current revenue is 500,000, right? That's your current revenue, 2021. That's a fact. Now, what's your thought about where you're heading? Okay. All right. You got work to do. So I didn't take up the entire time that I normally do today. Obviously, there's no Q&A, but why don't you, with the time you've blocked off, work through a model right now? Right now, write down the CTFAR, work through it, and then do an intentional model of where you want to be, where you want to go. And then next week, here's what I would do. Put that in a Google Doc. And then next week, let's share your screen and let's work through that together. Sound good? All right. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.